The billionaire former mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg, has formally entered the race to be U.S. president. Mr. Bloomberg says he is running to defeat Donald Trump and rebuild America.
His entry will shake up the already crowded field of Democrats vying for the party's nomination. He's the 18th candidate vying to take on Donald Trump in 2020.
Well, for more, let's speak to our correspondent, Kate Fisher, in Washington. Kate, what has Mr. Bloomberg promised to bring to the table?
Well, despite his late start, he says he needed to enter this race because the most important thing for the country to do is to defeat Donald Trump, and he believes he's the man who can do this, partly because he is so incredibly rich. He is, according to Forbes, the 8th richest man in America, so he certainly has the financial ability to stage a strong opposition to Donald Trump. Other policies he talks about particularly is gun control. That is one of the things he is most interested in. But the thing I think is the most striking thing about his policy is that he considers the current number of Democratic candidates to be too far left for his liking. He is much more moderate. In fact, he used to be a member of the Republican Party. So he has come into this race to say he believes that the party, the Democrats, are going too far to the left. He wants to bring policies back towards the middle, more moderate, more middle of the road.
Kate, you mentioned he's got lots of money. Does he have lots of support as well? And how does he stack up against other Democratic candidates like former Vice President Joe Biden?
Well, this is one of his biggest problems. There are similarities with Joe Biden in that he is a little bit older. He is 77 years old. He, like Joe Biden, is more of a moderate and will be appealing to a similar demographic in the amongst Democratic voters. And that makes things difficult for him because already Joe Biden has many supporters of his own. And also he's entering this race incredibly late, which is very risky. He has decided not to really campaign in those first early voting states of Iowa and New Hampshire, which of course the rest of the Democratic candidates are furiously campaigning there. He's decided to leave that be and concentrate on the later voting states. Because he has so much money behind him, he can kind of afford to do that. But it is a very risky strategy not to be there on those first, in Iowa and New Hampshire, when everybody, the whole country and the world's eyes are on who are the front runners in those early voting states. So he doesn't have, he has quite an eclectic political past. He had some very unpopular policies when he was mayor of New York, including one called Stop and Frisk, which unfairly, he was criticized for unfairly targeting black and Latino members of the public to be stopped and frisked. And those kind of policies don't really sit very well with typical Democratic voters. So he does have an uphill struggle. But as you say, he has more money than every other candidate there.
All right, we'll have to see how far that gets him. Kate Fisher, thank you very much from Washington, D.C.